In 2012, the United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification singled out 3 excellent projects to honor with the first Land for Life Awards. In Uganda, the Eco Schools program is showing how students can act as agents of change to restore degraded landscapes. In Turkey, the Turkish Foundation for Combating Soil Erosion, Reforestation, and the Protection of Natural Habitats, TEMA, has been working for 20 years to address these fundamental issues. And in Haiti, Sustainable Organic Integrated Livelihoods Soil is courageously confronting some of the most serious challenges to bring sanitation and health to the most vulnerable parts of the Haitian society.
In good years, like 20 years back, we had a lot of forest here. And because of population pressure, the number continued to increase and the people came to in need of firewood, charcoal, and what have you for cooking. So they had to cut all the trees around these hills.
What has really spoiled our land, what has really degenerated our land into what we are seeing now is the poor farming methods.
Uganda is predominantly an agricultural country with more than 85% of its population relying on land for livelihood. And it's important that such a people are introduced to sustainable land management practices to improve their livelihoods. And the only means to do this is through education.
To reach both the current stewards of the land and the next generation, conservation efforts for community development of Uganda have created the Eco Schools program.
The Eco Schools program in Uganda is building community resilience to desertification and climate change, using schools and children as agents of change.
As the Eco School program, we are actually promoting education for sustainable development, which enhances action-based learning. And this action-based learning is basically within the schools, the PTCs, the primary colleges.
Currently, Uganda has got more than over 8 million children in primary schools. So it is important that teacher education is given a strength it deserves, because it serves a very important purpose.
We actually feel that the learners of today should be holistic learners. We are using the Eco School program to promote skills for learners to acquire the values, to acquire the different life perspectives. They should look at life as in they do not take the environment for granted.
This is not simply a local problem. Humanity is currently required to answer this on a planetary scale.
I think now the global crisis in the environment, things like climate change, is causing people to think twice, because you see that the knowledge that you have been passing on is no longer relevant to the current situation.
You realize that because of land exhaustion as a result of poor land management practices, communities have started encroaching on wetlands, encroaching on riverbanks, thinking those are the fertile soils, not knowing they could improve their own lands and increase productivity. It is for this reason that students are now learning these practices and taking them back home to replicate at household level.
The Eco Schools program is effective because the teaching is not simply theoretical, but is immediately useful to improve the lives of the students and their families.
Those plant material that we need for mulching. Somebody has said mulching is the covering of topsoil with dry plant material. Not so. Can we name some of the materials that we may need for mulching? One.
Maize stalks.
Yes, somebody is saying.
Close by, in another eco-school, students are also listening carefully.
Why do we try agroforestry? One is that when the land is not enough, you should not focus on one plant, yet you need more. Two, they are windbreakers. They protect other plants. Three, some plants add on the fertility of the soil.
Agroforestry, intercropping, composting, separation of waste, recycling, and the creation of medicinal gardens are all in the curriculum. This practical knowledge is immediately useful and finds its way home.
How we should mulch with these few girls.
Let it be demonstrated at school and then replicated at home and in the entire village. That is the way to go. The children bring the knowledge, the new knowledge to the parents and demonstrate its effectiveness, and the parents will adopt it.
A teacher is a change agent, first of all, and he's handling the issue of sensitization.
When this hill is covered with forest, that means we will get water both for agriculture and for domestic use.
As this project grows, a new generation of teachers comes equipped with much deeper ecological understanding.
That will help in supplementing the food of the college.
These plants help in fixing nitrogen in the soil, improving the soil, and they help in utilization of land.
So they help us in controlling the weed. When those plants are planted there, the weed can't grow there. So they are used as vegetables, and they also control the growth of weed.
In addition to that, they also help in mulching, since when they grow and we uproot them, where they are put, they act as mulches.
They also help in eradicating the problem of greenhouse effect in the environment. It stops even the problem of desertification in the area. They also stop the problem of soil erosion. They provide shade. They also generate income to those who work in them. Caring about the trees, we acquire skills which we hope we are going to transfer to the primary schools after going in the field.
The degradation of the environment that we are experiencing is all as a result of human behavior. This is why the eco-school concept is not only about planting a tree, it's not only about constructing a water tank, but changing the mindset of an individual.
Turkey is a very interesting part of the world to consider historical impacts on nature. From eastern Turkey flow the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. It is between these two great rivers that the first human agriculture is thought to have begun, approximately 10,000 years ago. Throughout all of human history, these lands have been continuously used for agriculture and animal husbandry. When human beings began to cultivate the earth, it allowed us to gather surplus foods. Suddenly, not everyone was needed in food production. This allowed many to follow other pursuits, leading to specialization and the rise of cities. While agriculture brought with it a new era in human civilization, it also began to change long-term evolutionary trends that had led to total colonization of the earth by biological life, the differentiation and speciation leading to infinite potential variety in genetics, and the constant accumulation of organic matter as each generation of life died and laid down its body to nurture the next.
Wind erosion is very dangerous here. So if you remove the vegetation cover with domestic animals and monoculture, all of a sudden you will lose all your values here. I mean your traditions, your lifestyle, you'll lose everything.
It is possible to still see a traditional way of life in Turkey, but the times are changing.
In 50s, people started to use tractors and other machineries, fertilizers. I don't mean that they are bad, but without control. All of a sudden they attack to their lands and they start cultivating cash crops, which needs high input of water, which needs high fertilizer. For a couple of years they got good yield. In early 60s, there's no vegetation left, no yield left, no sheep left, and then starts that huge sand dune movement in this area.
Industrial agriculture is still dominant, reflecting the commonly held belief that productivity is of higher value than ecological function. TEMA has recognized that this is not sustainable and is working to understand what this means for natural earth systems and on educating the public on how to better conserve and protect Turkey's natural resources.
Yağmurda yani eskiki gibi kar yağmıyor, kısa düşüyor yani. Özellikle de karlar kısa düşüyor yani. İklim değişikliği var bayağı.
We have some equipments, data loggers. We are measuring every 2 minutes. From April to September, the water level is fluctuating 2 meters even. So every year there is a decrease. When we started the project here, the average water level around here was about 60 to 70 meters. Today, more than 100 meters.
This drop in the water table has led to serious physical changes in the landscape. The most visible of these is where the ground gives way with the emergence of huge sinkholes.
We had satellite images since 1995, where the irrigation started, and we mapped the sinkhole formations. So it goes parallel with it. With the increase of irrigated area, the number of sinkholes and the location of sinkholes are parallel with this.
TEMA's scientific and restoration work shows that it is not necessary to accept degraded landscapes. But it also shows that it is necessary to value the ecological function of the earth and not simply the productivity from agriculture.
TEMA is emphasizing the importance and value of integrated approach to combat land degradation. For example, on this field we are at right now in Karapınar, we have been conducting projects for the last 6 years, not only on scientific studies, but also with elements of rural development, like creating alternative incomes, providing training opportunities on latest agricultural and grazing technologies.
While robust science and a deep respect for natural ecosystems is at the core of TEMA's mission, led by the vision of its co-founders, who are almost universally beloved in Turkey, over the past 20 years, TEMA has been building an inclusive and participatory organization.
We try to teach people that instead of complaining, you ask yourself what I can do, what we can do. That was our one of the main issues that helped to discover new ideas and projects.
Over the years, this has grown into a very effective organization, stimulating mass action through education campaigns, tree planting campaigns, and policy advocacy.
TEMA is a kind of unique organization for Turkey. Almost in every town we have our representatives, we have our volunteers, and this is very important. That's why we need to listen to them, we need to act together, we need to work together.
Now we have over 400,000 followers, which is very important for trying to realize such missions.
Local representatives of TIMA's membership from all over Turkey met together to celebrate the 20th anniversary in Istanbul. While there was serious work to be done, the people also had a great time.
We believe in our volunteers. They are the real people. They are the people who are working for this objective.
We need participation in developing land use plans because at the end of the day, who will implement the plan is the people, local people.
There is urgent work to be done, and thanks to the far-sighted dedication of the founders and the hundreds of thousands of Turkish members of TIMA, the means to understand what needs to be done and to promote these efforts through the country exists.
Now we are working on water. For example, by now Turkey doesn't have any law for water, and is such a big country. We need a law, and we are working with scientists, we are working with academic people, with universities, with NGOs, with all stakeholders in order to have a law.
In Haiti, on January 12, 2010, hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives when the island was devastated by a catastrophic earthquake. 3 years later, hundreds of thousands of people are still living in camps, many not served by sanitary facilities. Haiti has the lowest level of sanitation in the Western Hemisphere, with only 26% of the people having toilets available.
Important, si nous pas de sanitation, et pendant choléra, nous te perdu en pile monde qui te mouri. C'est pas sanitation, nous t'a gen plus monde qui mouri toujours.
In fact, 6% of the population of Haiti has been affected by cholera, and more than 7,600 people have died from the disease. More people died from cholera in Haiti in 2012 than in the entire continent of Africa. Clearly, sanitation is urgently needed in Haiti so that Haitians can live in health and dignity. And for some, it determines whether they will live at all.
Plus bon résultat qui gagne dans Chada, c'est bay plus toilettes. Si nous bay plus toilettes, nous avons plus bon résultat sur la santé. Et si nous ne pas mourir en pile, parce que nous avons bon résultat.
Haiti's problems persist, despite the vast amounts of foreign assistance pledged following the earthquake. But one organization, rather than expecting that international assistance will somehow magically solve the problem, is working to put the solution directly into the hands of the Haitian people. Sustainable Organic Integrated Livelihoods, SOIL, has been serving the most basic needs for sanitation of thousands of Haitians. Usually when one thinks of sanitation, the costs of sewage systems and treatment plants is so large as to be overwhelming. By confronting the problem head-on with simple, inexpensive composting toilets, managed by the Haitian people themselves, SOIL is providing affordable sanitation services that are preventing disease, creating jobs, and enhancing local agriculture. SOIL serves 3 types of communities: the refugee camps that house those who lost their homes in the earthquake and subsequent tropical storms and have still not been rehoused; the residents of informal communities that spring up wherever the people can find space to build a small structure; and rural farming communities. SOIL's business model creates jobs, in a land where unemployment is rife. And it is showing that there's a solution to the problem that lies within the power of the Haitian people themselves. Each toilet installation has a manager who is trained and employed to keep the composting system working and the facilities clean.
Qu'est-ce que m'a fait? Ma propre toilette là, nettoyer, mettre propre. Toujours mettre avec Mistoline, Clorox, pour mettre propre pour tout le monde qui a une toilette à l'aise.
By adding dry materials such as sawdust, peanut shells, or the residue left from the processing of sugarcane to the collection drums after each use, the toilets do not smell.
Ça sol fait mon chada, moi c'est pas expliquer même si tellement eu besoin pour ça.
Through proven techniques, the composting waste reaches temperatures that kill disease bacteria, making this an affordable and immediately useful way for Haiti to deal with its sanitation needs and defeat the cholera epidemic. Sanitation is hardly the only problem that Haiti faces. Over 98% of Haiti's natural forests have been cut down. This makes the island vulnerable to flooding, not just from tropical storms, but virtually every time it rains. And without vegetation cover, the natural soil fertility and agricultural productivity is vastly decreased. Soil has the answer to this as well. The compost, when finished, can be used in reforestation and in agriculture to improve the soil quality, increase agricultural productivity, and move the development toward a sustainable future.
Oui, je suis content. Nous construisons des bagages et puis ça nous construit qui nous doit acheter qui pas bon et tourner venir nous encore. Tant que nous fait travail de cossane et puis matière nous fait, nous transformer et puis venir tourner nous encore dans l'agriculture.
Like lands all over the world, there is nothing intrinsically wrong with the soil in Haiti. It simply requires understanding and nurturing for the earth to bestow her bounty.
Tant que là, nous avons un projet pour nous faire un jardin fruits et nous avons un projet pour nous participer dans le reboisement dans le pays avec l'organisation dans la zone, faire un jardin fruits pour eux et puis un encadrement technique. Ça veut dire tout ça, nous avons besoin de corps pour nous faire.
Rarely does one find a relief project that is so well suited to serve the needs of the people, or to find that the implementers are so fully committed to what they are doing.
We're in the soil office in the capital city of Port-au-Prince, and when we moved into this office, it was equipped with flush toilets and a septic tank. And right here you can see our flush toilet, but if you look closely you'll see that it's sealed, and it has a sign on it that says, "Don't waste your poop, use the EcoSan toilet." This is not a technology for poor people. This is a technology for environmentally conscious people around the world. And we use this toilet not because we have to, but because we actually prefer it.
And the commitment doesn't stop there.
All of these sort of plant islands here are all planted in our compost. So these are big piles of compost that was made from human waste generated in the camps after the earthquake. So it's a way of taking something that was making people sick and turning it into this beautiful wonderland that we have back here. We try to demonstrate everything that we're trying to do in communities here in our backyard and inside of our office so that we know it works before we try to talk to anyone else about the potential for it. So we like to show what our compost can do in the backyard and use the toilets we're promoting to communities inside of our office. And that way we really know what works and what doesn't work.
Et nous te dit déjà nous besoin laboratoire et puis nous besoin l'autre instrument qui est capable de permettre nous faire manipulation et compost là à lever pour virer et ça permet que compost là arrive décomposer plus vite les nous virer en pile fois. C'est que travail avec communauté. Si nous travaillons avec communauté et parce que nous avons l'autre organisation dans la communauté, nous avons besoin de travailler ensemble avec eux tout pour intégrer nan projet a kapab fè utiliser compost la.
One of the primary reasons that a lot of aid does not work is because nonprofits sort of come in from the outside assuming that they have a solution and don't really take the time to get to know the needs of the community, and also are often promoting a lot of solutions that they themselves would not use. So you certainly don't want to say, I think that this is something that you should use, but I would never use it myself. You want to provide people with something that you yourself would feel dignified using.
Soil's long-term commitment in crafting, together with the Haitian people, an effective and innovative response for some of the most egregious problems that the island faces, has not gone unrecognized. Soil received the highest honor from the 2012 UNCCD Land for Life Awards. Uganda and Turkey were also honored for the dedication and effectiveness of their initiatives.
We should sustainably utilize what we have without compromising the lives of the future. And here we are, the reason why we want to focus on the young ones, have that knowledge at a tender age, believe in it, and pass it on to the generation to come.
We give a lot of importance for kids, because the new generation is very important. They can save this world.
Yeah. Here it comes. And they're edible. And they're tasty.
That's all it is.